The Transformation Motivation is a weekly podcast featuring people that have made extraordinary transformations within their health and fitness journey, and maybe even their life. The podcast is an opportunity for real-life transformation stories to discuss their story for others to relate to. Too many times, there are people with these social media transformation stories that have doctored up photos, so we want to highlight real people with real stories people can relate to. We'll get insider strategies, tips, step-by-step of how they did it, and challenges they faced along the way. Now, get ready for the Transformation Motivation Podcast.
Hey, what's up, party people? And thanks again for checking out, tuning in to the most awesome podcast on iTunes and wherever you're checking us out from. This is the Transformation Motivation Podcast, and what I do, I'm Fit Emmett. I bring a bunch of cool folks from all over social media to come onto the show to talk about their fitness journey, their successes, and to kind of give you somewhat of an in-depth insight to how they've done it, and so maybe some tips and some strategies that you can take with you along with you on your journey. So today, I have the honor and privilege of bringing onto the show again for the second time, Miss Jasmine. How are you doing, Jasmine?
I'm good. Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic. So Miss Jasmine, this is your second time on the show. Yeah. Yes. You guys may not catch the first time just because the host is a bit of a crazy freak sometimes, and I forget things. But anyway, we're going to jump into who is Miss Jasmine's losing it, because she's losing it, but in a good way.
Yes.
So Miss Jasmine, who are you? Where you're from? Tell the people like what's your what has your process been, and give us all the fun details on your background.
Sure. So I'm Jasmine. I am from a small town in Nova Scotia, Canada, and I am
Canada, eh?
Yes, Canada, eh? I am a social worker and also a mom of two. I have a 10-month-old and a 2.5-year-old, and I recently lost 110 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 110. And I'm just kind of been trying to change my life and better myself and kind of be the best version of me. And
I would say that 100 pounds is a bit of a change.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So physically and mentally, it's been a whirlwind since January of this year, for sure.
And so that's you're talking January of this year. So we're literally talking what, 8 months?
Yeah, it'll be 8 months. End of August here, it'll be 8 months total. Yeah.
Wow. Just to give everybody some perspective, I guess give us your starting weight, your height, and kind of where you started along the whole process. Like what started you on this whole weight loss or health and fitness journey?
Yeah, sure. So my starting weight on January 1st was 294 pounds, and I am 5'10". Former athlete, played basketball for a better part of my life since I was about 11 years old. So do have an athletic background. So I had 2 babies in 2 years, kind of back to back for the most part.
Yeah.
I'd always been a bit bigger. I've always been, the bigger kid among my friends and in my class, and the kid that had baby fat till they were like 13 years old, right? Or the kid that, you're just big bone, don't worry about it. So I was always
big bone myth.
So I was always that kid. Like I said, I played sports, so that kind of helped me a little bit. It was okay to be a bit bigger and taller and, could throw your weight around a little when you're 10 and, on the basketball court, it was a good thing. So I always kind of used sport as my outlet. Went on to actually play university basketball as well. Got quite fit. I was fit enough just to get by. Got really fit in 2012 to kind of help my team out. It was my last year on my team. I really wanted to contribute and be a role on the team, and I did really well that year.
Gotcha.
that was 2012. Then I graduated. Basketball was over. I no longer had that team kind of to motivate me and to support me. My dad passed away in 2013. So kind of basketball ending, my dad passing away, not being surrounded by my teammates and my friends at all times, slowly started the gain train, I call it.
The gain train, wow.
Gain train, yeah. So I started to kind of gain about 10, 15-ish pounds every year, just kind of slowly coming on. So from 2013 to 2016, so those 3 years, I gained about 60 pounds.
Wow.
And got pregnant with my first daughter. When I was pregnant with her, I was 260, got up to 300, lost a little bit, got pregnant with my second daughter, weighed 260 again. And when I went to the hospital with her, it was over 300 pounds, about 305. And then when I left the hospital, I was 300 pounds. So she weighed more than 5 pounds. So I thought, oh, that's no big deal. It's fine. It'll go down. So 300 pounds when I left. 6 weeks later at my checkup, I was 298. So 6 weeks later, breastfeeding and all, I only had lost 2 pounds. So I was feeling horrible physically, mentally, emotionally. It was just awful. I was 300 pounds and I wasn't happy. And my back, my knees, everything was hurting. And I said, something's got to change here. So
that was the line in the sand. So that was the initial line in the sand, or was that the thing that did it for you?
Yeah, and then Christmas, just this past Christmas, I took a picture with a bunch of my friends that were down visiting that I hadn't seen for a long time. I saw the picture. They looked the same, how I remember them. I did not. I didn't want to post it, but I did want to post it because I was so happy to be back with my people and in their company, but I was so embarrassed to put that picture up because of how I looked. That was the line in the sand for sure.
So it was just them, you actually seeing the drastic change, but them staying the same.
Yeah. And that seeing them beside me, and I've seen so many pictures of us together over the years because we've been such good friends since we were young, very young, and then just kind of me seeing them the same, but really realizing that was not me. I didn't even recognize myself at that size. It was,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And you know what? That you actually using that picture as a driving force is like super important, because it's just one of the things that I even tell my clients, like, hey, take a before picture of yourself, or take a picture of you at your worst and post it on your mirror. That way it can be a constant reminder to yourself of why you're, doing this whole journey, why you're involved in this whole process, because, we need that constant reminder. There'll be days where you don't feel like it. There'll be days where you just might not feel like working out or whatever. And to look at that picture will then trigger those same emotions, like, all right, I don't want to be that person. I want to be better than that person, or I want to improve my health so that I don't run the risk of creating a bad cycle for myself. So
exactly. Yeah. And I could feel myself falling into that, and food was just comfort. Right? I was emotionally eating if I was sad, or if I was having a bad day, if something went wrong at work, whatever it was, I would think, okay, I need to go get food. And that was my outlet. And I didn't want that to be my outlet, not for me, not for my family, especially not for my 2 little girls, to see that as something that's, that has to be the way you feel better, is to eat, because that's not a good message. So
yeah, totally. So finding a different way to deal with the stresses of life, and kind of presenting that image to your kids so that they don't run that same cycle of, hey, mommy's feeling bad, we're going to go eat
chocolate.
Chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
kids learn by watching us. I mean, that's the thing. So that's setting the stage, like what we're doing right now as parents. We set the stage for our kids for their future habits and tendencies. Like, I see dad exercising, so guess what? I'm going to use exercise as a way of, conditioning my health. So
yes, Exactly. Yeah. And that's been a huge motivator for me, my kids, most definitely.
Cool, cool. So we talk about, you talked about your mental state transforming through this whole process. So I guess take us back to initially and walk us through how your mental state has transformed and changed over the years.
Sure. So I was, as I was gaining the weight, and even from my first child, I was still, quite heavy, and then had my second and continuing to get heavier. I was just a very irritable, and I'm a pretty outgoing person. I'm all, I like to think that I'm usually pretty, happy and upbeat, but I was finding myself just being irritable and short and impatient with my loved ones and my friends, and antisocial and not wanting to go out, having anxiety about going and visiting friends, because I didn't feel good about myself.
Sure.
Never felt like I had anything to wear. I would spend all kinds of time crying in my closet, because I would try to put things on and I didn't like the way they looked. So that was, upsetting, extremely upsetting for me, and probably for my family, and especially for my partner.
Yeah.
So I just decided, I got on Instagram and started looking at hashtags of, weight loss journeys, fitness inspiration, all those kinds of hashtags, and looking around and seeing what I could find to see what did I want to do? How could I emulate somebody else's? You think I get to see what someone else did.
Yep.
So I just stumbled across a page of this girl, Tiffany, who I now call my friend. My IG friend, and her handle is My Adventure to Fit, and she created the 21-day meal plan, and I liked the look of it because it was just food, it wasn't diet pills or
supplements and powders and stuff like that. Yeah,
food, and that was really important for me, one, as a mom, and two, as a breastfeeding mom, and I wanted to make sure I knew what I was taking, right? So just food. It was just something I could follow, something concrete and something laid out that I didn't have to make it up on my own. I could actually see something tangible and follow it. So
cool.
Took the plunge, got on board with that. My partner also wanted to get on board as well because he was at his heaviest weight. So we made a New Year's resolution, like lots of people do.
I do too.
Yeah. We wrote them down. We had a notebook. We wrote down our goals and we said, okay, January 1st, this is us. This is what we're doing. And we started it. We threw out everything in their house that was junk, sugar, processed stuff, high in salts, like everything just threw it out.
So basically you drew the line in the sand and just said, hey, no turning back.
No.
We're just going to eliminate all the junk.
Yes.
And from this point forward, we're not even going to introduce it into our house.
Yeah.
Into our food prep, nothing.
Yeah, absolutely gone. Just cold turkey. Cold turkey.
Completely. So a lot of times, people will say, I'm getting started with this whole diet program or these workouts and this fitness journey, but they got the chips still in the pantry.
Right. That's temptation. If it's not there, you're not going to eat it, right? So
exactly.
And I knew, so many times over the years, I've said, okay, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. Like, that's my goal, or I'm going to do this. And I've started. I didn't throw everything out, and then I just slowly stopped. I slowly quit. One day I would start doing a little less, or I'd start eating a bit more, and then eventually I'd find myself, and I had just given up without even really realizing it. So I said, tired of that. I'm tired of saying I want to change, and I'm tired of feeling like this. And my partner was on board, and we just went for it completely. And it's
unless you guys live close to a store where you can a grocery store or somewhere like that you can just walk and pick up the stuff, no one's going to make a special trip to go get ice cream. I mean, unless your wife's pregnant and she's at her wit's end.
Yeah. Having to do that, you feel that's almost embarrassing. So it's like, I said I was going to do this, and now I'm really getting in my car and driving to the store on the street, right? So even if you feel tempted, I hope that your pride won't allow you to do that, right? So
like you shamefully walk into a grocery store with a hat on, like,
right.
this Halo Top ice cream.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so totally just no turning back,
No tr-
making the decision, making it concrete, just saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Don't leave anything for, hey, maybe possibly I might need these chips for later for a
Right.
party or
Yeah. No.
right.
So everything, we dumped out all the juice, all the soda, everything just gone. Yeah.
Good.
We even gave away some meat. Like we had some chicken that was, skin on, really fatty stuff, like cheaper stuff that really wasn't good kind of meat. We even gave that away to my partner's cousin who lives up the road. He's like, "You want some frozen chicken?" Like we got rid of everything. Like
There
it
you
was,
go. There
yeah.
you go. So take us now, bring us up to speed. You said when you first started, you were really just not feeling as confident. Just wasn't in love with yourself and who you were years ago. But now I'm guessing it's a different person. You were irritable, didn't want to hang out with people. So like you seem like you're smiling pretty brightly today. So like,
I know. And it's funny because everyone, people say that, my followers will say that on my stories and stuff. They'll say, you have a different glow about you these days. And my mom says it and people say it. And I really do. And I can feel it. I see it, of course, but I really can feel it. And that's the big part for me, that I can feel the difference.
yeah,
I feel better. My head is more clear. I'm excited to get up in the morning. Most mornings, of course, we all have days where we don't want to get up, but overall, I just feel like I want to get up and go and I'm energized. I want to take kids to the park. I want to get a workout in. I just feel so much better. It's
yeah,
so hard to even really genuinely explain it because it's so real. It's such a real, raw emotion of happiness that I've had a lot of joy in my life and I've been really blessed with, be surrounded by amazing people and lots of good things happen to me. But, so I've felt joy before, of course, obviously, but this is something I haven't felt. And I think it comes from being truly happy with who you are, where you are in your life, and, also being confident in your own
yeah.
skin, and really, looking in the mirror and being happy with what you see, which is really what was my goal and what I wanted. But I didn't think that it would be, this great. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Awesome. That sounds great, man. That excites me a lot. Only because that's like the other side. When people are at point A and
Yes.
they just seem destitute and they just
Mm,
seem like nothing in life's working out for them. They're overweight or
yeah.
obese or just not feeling good. They just can't see the other side because
Yeah.
there's like a wall to climb, so to speak.
It
And
seems so like it's not real. Like it's something I always felt like it was something other people do. To me, it was like, that's not something I do. That's what people on Instagram do, or that's, something you see on TV, but I can't do that. That's not me. I always felt that way.
yeah,
But
so
yeah.
yeah, starting off in the process. I mean, in January, you wake up in the morning or you wake up whenever and you're like, okay, meal prep, I gotta get my foods ready. And did it seem daunting? And were you not like this inspired or
I,
excited at one point?
I definitely wasn't this inspired. No. But I was excited for what could be. So I just
Awesome.
kept myself, and we took pictures of each other, and showing everything that we could, and my stomach hanging out, and I just kept looking. And I had a folder on my phone, and I just kept looking at that picture and said,
Yeah.
This is the picture that you don't want. You don't want this to be your reality, right? So anytime I kind of felt a bit, "Oh, I don't really want to do this," I would just go back and look at that picture. And honestly, after about a week of really even just cutting out that sugar and cutting out all that processed junk, I felt so much better just
Hmm.
after, right? And upping my water intake, and even just, 1 week in, I could slowly start to feel little things in my body feeling better, just having that stuff out of my system. So that's what kind of kept me going, right? So it's like, I know there's change. I know small changes are happening.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, where will I be a year from now? Where will you be a year from now? And
So that's important. That's super important in like goal setting. I do this with myself with a lot of different things, but just not necessarily focusing on how bad you are now or how worse things or how horrible things are now, but focusing on, as I'm taking the steps,
Yes.
how things could unfold for the better.
Right.
Because if we start focusing on everything that's wrong or
Mm-hmm.
horrible, or this isn't working, that isn't working, I'm not losing enough weight,
Right.
I don't have enough money to buy healthy foods, like all the things that, because a lot of people say these things. Oh,
Yes.
I'm broke. I'm broke. If you keep telling yourself you're broke, you're always going to be broke. If keep telling yourself, this isn't making me happy, it's not going to make you happy. You
Yeah.
got to focus on what could be, or what is to come, or what's possible. Like
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless, but you just have to wrap your mind around like
Right.
what is to come, not what's present.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was huge for me. And I know that having my partner doing it with me, that helped for sure, because if I was having a bit of a down day, he would be up, and
Mhm.
vice versa. If he was feeling a bit down, I was able to bring him up. So being able to have a support person, whether it's, your spouse or a friend, or, even somebody online who is, has similar goals, that's huge. I think being able to find, an accountability partner. So yes.
That's key right there. Accountability partner, you guys. Take note on that. Write that down. If you're the left brain type that likes to take notes, write that one down, because that's super important, because there's going to be days. There's going to be days where it's just you feel like you're dragging yourself through the process, and you got to have that person there that's going to either say to you, or you can refer to them, hey, like, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it today. Can you help me stay motivated through the process, and keep me going, because I'm down. I think everybody needs that person, and I'm going to issue a challenge. You know what? Be that person for somebody today, y'all. Call a friend and say, hey, what's up? I just want to talk. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling okay? Kind of reach out to them, because no matter where they're at in life or in their health and fitness journey, whatever, you might be a bridge for them to take them past feeling of the emotion or the feelings of being stuck. So
I like that. Yes.
That was my challenge.
Yeah, it's a good challenge.
For myself too today. So
yeah, me too.
I've got a list of folks that I probably need to reach out to, so I'm going to definitely do that after the call. So a lot of people are probably going to want to know, what you're doing currently. So let's bring us up to speed. What are you doing currently in terms of your exercise regimen? Some things that you recommend, or some things that you're doing that works for you. Mm-hmm. And in terms of nutrition, how are you mixing things up? And have you tried different things? And are you experimenting, or are you still rolling with the same flow? Or kind of bring us up to speed on everything.
Yeah, so I'm really close to my goal, kind of my final goal weight. So like I said, I started at 294. I'm now 183. Would like to be at 175-ish. So I'm really close. So I'm less than 10 pounds away. So kind of, getting close to maintenance mode. And, these last 10-ish pounds, I've been trying to kind of just play around, because of course, after losing that much weight, your body's going to get used to certain things. So what I've done, and my partner and I, we've done since the very beginning, is always doing, 1 or 2 months of a certain kind of a program, or, routine in the gym, and then mixing it up. So we started with at-home workout videos. We did a Jillian Michaels video, and then we did some stuff on YouTube, and then we got a gym membership. Then I started a running program, Couch to 5K. Then I, ran a 5K race, which is insane for me to even be able to say that I did that, because I could never run even 5 seconds. So July 1st, I ran a 5K race under 30 minutes, which was amazing for me. Now I'm out of the gym and back doing home workouts. So I'm doing a 21-day bikini body challenge, from a friend of mine, Allison Michelle on Instagram. She is based out of Toronto, and mm-hmm. she is a fitness, I say, guru for women. And she had this program. I thought, let me give this a try, because it's something new. I thought it would challenge me. So that's what I'm doing right now. People always want to know, what exactly are you doing? And yeah. I will tell people, but also I always say, find what works for you, get moving, talk to some experts if you feel the need, but also just get yourself moving. So I work out an hour a day tops. 6 days a week. I always take 1 day off. You know, I work my whole entire body. You know, I'm not, people say, oh, you lost your belly fat, you must be doing a lot of core exercises. Well, no, I eat well, so that's why belly fat. And, you know, I never just focus on core. I'm working on everything. I'm doing cardio, I'm doing HIIT, I'm lifting, you know, I'm doing a whole combination. I'm keeping my body, you know, guessing. You know, I'm always doing different. So right now, doing that at-home workout, and I'm also, you know, a lot of body weight stuff, lifting, a lot of HIIT workouts right now, but always just 45 minutes, 60 minutes a day. And, you know, I worry more about food and what I'm putting in my body versus, you know, what I'm doing for my workouts. Important, of course, but the food is huge. That's the kicker. So,
and it's sort of funny because a lot of people want to know, like, you know, your core looks nice and strong. What are you doing for core? Like, I do everything. Like, it's just there's no such thing as spot reduction.
Exactly.
So everybody wants the set core workout to do. Work everything. Don't wake up in the morning and just do a whole bunch of sit-ups, because that's not. If you're doing a whole bunch of sit-ups and then eating pizza right afterwards, that's going to negate that whole workout that you did. You're going to feel discouraged. You're going to stop working out altogether because you think that it sucks, when essentially you just need to go to your pantry and say, I'm eliminating everything.
I'm so glad you said that, because my followers will see this, and, you know, I say to them all the time, because, you know, I had my stomach was really, it was large and it was hanging, you know, over my clothes, and it's really gone down. And I always, you know, especially women always ask, how did you get rid of your hanging belly? How do I do that? What ab exercises? And I always say, you know, you can't target fat loss, which is great that you said that, because you're a professional, I'm not, so they might listen to you better. But, you know, it's about the food thing. Yeah. So full body, work out your whole entire body. So
and the key is you cannot out exercise a bad diet.
Right. Nope.
You cannot out exercise you. So I did a whole webinar on this thing called cardio weight loss, because there is a community of folks that think that they can get into the gym, do a boatload of cardio to maintain their weight or to even lose weight. Like, okay, if I eat 1,000 calories and I burn 800 calories during one session, and I come back another session and do another, 500 calories, they are like burnout, cardio burnout mode.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use that to maintain their weight and even to lose weight if they put their bodies under an extreme calorie deficit. But here's the deal. Why don't just eat well and add in a good mixture of exercise, instead of trying to, I ate pizza last night, so that means I got to do an extra 30 minutes of cardio. That's a really daunting life to live.
And I would imagine you would burn out quite quickly, for sure.
Quick. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So all right. So we're almost about to land this plane. But before we land this plane, I'm going to ask one question, and you just give us your insights as to, the one question, and that's being the Jasmine that you are now.
Yeah.
Being the 2018 Jasmine. Yes. What would you tell the Jasmine of years ago? I guess when was this? 2010. Was it 2010 when you graduated college? And 2012. Okay. All right. So what would you tell the Jasmine back then that started to gain weight and started to kind of go down that dark road of weight gain and using food as comfort and all that? What advice would you give her?
The advice that I would give myself is that, there's so many other ways to find comfort, and there's so many other outlets that you can use, and things that you can have in your life that, can make you feel better, and that can bring you a different kind of happiness, right? To bring you out of that rut. There's so many other things. And specifically for me, it's been, exercise, being able to get my frustration and my anger out that way. So I think probably if I could, be on my shoulder, like go back in time, I would say, instead of ordering that whole pizza and eating it by yourself alone,
wow.
how about you get out, go for a nice long walk with your favorite, song, on the iPod or whatever, right? So, which is, even when I have down days now, that's what I do. I get out or go for a jog or a run and, put my music in and, feel so much better. So, and I always feel better afterwards with my workouts versus, prior when I would do that order a whole pizza thing. You never feel good after that. Usually you feel like.
It's like you're sitting there with a belly full of pizza, greasy fingers, and you're just like, why did I do this?
Exactly. Instant regret all the way. And I never regret a hard workout, ever.
Yeah. Okay. That's powerful right there. You never regret a good hard workout.
Never. I can say I have never, not once.
But you will regret eating a whole pizza.
You will.
She said a whole pizza.
Oh yeah, no problem. That was light work back in the day. So yeah,
light work, whole pizza. Maybe it's just that I don't have a strong love for pizza, so I just can't see myself doing a whole one.
Right. Or if it was something you really loved,
I can eat a whole chicken, like the rotisserie chickens. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Could have. I could have.
That's light work to me. That is total light work for me.
Right.
All right. So I do want to thank you, Jasmine, for coming on to the show, gracing us with your beautiful presence and all your knowledge and insights. Now, where would people be able to get in touch with you if they had specific questions about your journey or weight loss or just trying to gain some inspiration? How would they contact you?
Sure. So people can contact me via Instagram. So at Jasmine Losing It. So they can DM me there, or also on my page, there's a spot where they can click to email me. So either is fine. I will get back to you. I always do respond to DMs, sometimes faster than others, but I will get back to you. And yeah, Instagram is the best place.
Cool. You heard it. So I want to thank you guys again for checking in to the Transformation Motivation Podcast. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a fun, healthy, and fit day.